Well, it's the end of the year, and that means that it's time again to take a trip down memory lane. Time to look back at my video from this time last year about my predictions, and a time to use a silly thumbnail like this one that says, I was wrong about the market, because I am a Canadian real estate YouTuber, and that's, well, just what we do every year. And this year is no different. So sit right back after you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my local market of Surrey, BC. And go ahead and click the like button so we can get on with laughing at me from 12 months ago. So let's hop right into it.
It's prediction time.
First off, who is that guy? Wow. What a meathead.
Prediction number one is that we will see much more measured interest rate adjustments from the Bank of Canada. I think the Bank of Canada is going to return to their normal trend of increasing or decreasing interest rates by only a quarter point at a time.
So far, I'm going to take a win on this one and say, yeah, I mean, that's all we did. We did see 3 quarter point increases, and they were only a quarter point at a time. So far on interest rates, I'm taking a win.
But if I had to go out on a limb and bet my money on the Bank of Canada's overnight rate, I would suggest that it likely will not increase past 5% in 2023.
Hey, there you go. I'm going to take a win on this one. I said interest rates would not increase at a crazy pace like they were before, as if maybe a bunch of people were hoping for, that they would just keep on going up. But in fact, we did not surpass 5% of the overnight interest rate from the Bank of Canada.
Prediction number two is that, yes, it's most likely prices will continue to decrease for the foreseeable future.
Well, I got that one wrong completely, because almost immediately after doing this video, prices took off, and they've actually even come back since then. But when you look at each individual asset class here in my market of Surrey, year over year pricing from the time this video came out till now, condos are up 4.5%, townhouses were up 5.9%, and the detached market was up 6%. Now, back then, I only saw prices coming down, and I thought that that would continue. And that ended up not being the case at all. And it's crazy to think that this was the month where prices actually bottomed out. Well, they bottomed out in December and January, and then they absolutely took off again, all the way through until July. I mean, it's crazy to think just back then, a year ago, we thought that these interest rates would just have this continuous downward pressure, much like what the stock market had done, and basically erased all pandemic gains. But much like the stock market, the housing market here in my market seems to have recovered a bunch of those losses already.
Prediction number three is in a place that I'm not a specialist in because, well, my real estate license here in BC does not cover rentals. But that being said, I think we are going to start to see some stability come to the rental market. My investment property rented out in 2021 for $2,100 a month. Just this last summer, we've seen other units rent in the same complex for upwards of $2,500 per month. And I'm not going to be shocked in 2023 if I start seeing rentals in that area drop by a little bit, maybe into the $2,400 range.
Well, I got that one wrong again because, well, maybe not 100% wrong. Rents have definitely stopped going up now at this point, at least in the short term. But a year ago, when rents for, as I mentioned, a condo like the one I own were up as high as $2,500, we're now seeing 26 or maybe even 26.50. And there is no signs of showing that those rents will start to retreat down to the 2,400 mark as I predicted this time last year. And there's even an argument right now that, again, as the housing market is cooling at this moment, that, well, that could force more people into rentals, which could drive up rentals again.
Number four on my list is kind of out of left field, but I'm going to address it. And that is the fact that I don't think we're going to see the massive wave of foreclosures that, well, everyone in the comments is hoping for.
Well, that prediction was probably the easiest of the bunch. We're still not seeing any sort of foreclosures coming to the market. I mean, I've done one this year. I used to do back in the day 3 or 4 bank foreclosures every single year. And since the pandemic started, we've only done foreclosures in really awkward situations to the tune of 1 a year. And it's generally speaking the strata that has been foreclosing upon an owner not paying their strata bills. Just recently, I even got a chance to meet someone from Canada Guarantee, which is one of the mortgage insurance companies. And he assured me they're not seeing defaults happening in their portfolio at all. So Unfortunately, for the doomers and the gloomers out there, foreclosures are just still not a thing. And I would even go so far as suggesting they're going to be even less of a thing than I thought. Now, a couple of months ago here on the channel, I was pretty pessimistic about the market because at 6.5% renewals, all those people with 2% mortgage rates, well, they're going to be in for a big shock. And I think that that would actually increase foreclosures and have a lot of people losing their homes in 2025 and 26 when those low rates start to renew. Currently, it appears that bond yields are dropping and that we might end up within a year being back down to something like a 4.5% 5 year interest rate. And all those people that even bought at the peak were stress tested at 5.25%. So, really, if we stay under that 5.25% on the actual mortgage rate that you get, and even let's push it up from there a little bit, maybe even to 5.5%, I think this market is going to be just fine. And that is a tune I was not singing just a couple of months ago.
And my prediction number 5, well, it's barely a prediction anymore because I think it's been on my prediction list as long as I've been doing them. And that is that inventory levels in the market will remain low and keep the market propped up maybe a little bit more than it should be.
Well, this one I'm going to say is mostly right as well. Because this year, inventory did creep up to as high as for like a day or two, just over 6,000 active listings here in my market of the Fraser Valley. And then it has now quickly dipped closer to 5,000 again. 6 to 7,000 is where we need to be in a healthy market. And 6 to 7,000 would be over a prolonged period of time. And then to get into a really bad spot, we need to be at 8, 9, 10,000 active listings on the market with nobody buying them up. And I just don't see that happening again in the future. So inventory, yes, is going to be nothing like, thank goodness, it's going to be nothing like we experienced in the pandemic, but we could still go up substantially. We could hopefully get there by this time next year. But if that does happen, that's because housing affordability is eroding and people have shifted back towards the rentals, causing those rentals to go up. So there you go. I think I was right about interest rates, wrong about pricing and rent. And then I probably had a couple of gimmies on the foreclosure and inventory predictions. Let me know if you saw this year playing out in this manner, or if you, like me, thought that prices were going to decline over this entire year. And of course, now that 2023 has wrapped up, if you're looking to make a move in my market of Surrey or the Fraser Valley in 2024, you can go ahead and book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for subscribing, clicking the like button. We'll see you in a couple of days.